We all love a good Disney movie with its heartwarming stories and lovable characters. But what about the villains? They're not always as straightforward as they seem. In fact, some of Disney's most iconic baddies have had secret agendas and shocking twists that have left us all stunned. So get ready to discover the dark side of Disney as we count down the top 10 villains who were not what they seemed. At number 10, we have Prince Charming from Shrek the Third. Now, at first glance, this guy seemed like he had it all: good looks, charm, and he was next in line for the throne. But as the movie went on, we realized that he was actually kind of a jerk. See, Prince Charming didn't want to wait around for the throne. He wanted it now. And he was willing to do whatever it took to get it. He lied, he tricked people, and he even teamed up with a bunch of other fairy tale villains to try and take over. His actions caused all sorts of chaos in the kingdom, and he even tried to get rid of Shrek and his friends. It was pretty wild. In the end, though, Prince Charming got what was coming to him, and the kingdom was restored to its rightful order. But man, what a roller coaster ride! In at number 9 is Governor Ratcliffe from Pocahontas. At first, he seemed like a pretty standard leader. He had a goal: to find gold, and he was determined to achieve it. But as the movie went on, it became clear that Ratcliffe was more interested in personal gain than anything else. He didn't care about the people under his command, and he certainly didn't care about the Native Americans living in the New World. Instead of trying to find a peaceful solution to the problems between the settlers and the natives, Ratcliffe only made things worse. He was greedy, selfish, and pretty ruthless. In the end, his actions led to a lot of conflict and tension in the New World. But thankfully, there were other people in the movie who were more open-minded and willing to work towards peace, which helped to balance out Ratcliffe's destructive ways. At number 8, we have the Coachman from Pinocchio. When we first meet this guy, he seems like a real nice fellow. He's offering boys a chance to go to a place called Pleasure Island, where they can have all kinds of fun and adventure. But as the movie goes on, it becomes clear that the Coachman isn't as nice as he seems. In fact, he's downright sinister. You see, Pleasure Island isn't what it appears to be. It's actually a trap designed to lure in unsuspecting boys and turn them into donkeys. The Coachman makes a profit off of this by selling the donkeys to be used as laborers. It's pretty messed up. What makes the Coachman's actions even more despicable is that he seems to enjoy tricking and exploiting innocent children. It's a dark side of the story that really drives home the idea that you shouldn't trust strangers, even if they seem friendly. At number 7, we have Syndrome from The Incredibles. At first, this guy was just a regular fan of superheroes. He admired Mr. Incredible and wanted to be his sidekick. But when Mr. Incredible said no, Syndrome became angry and resentful. He started to view superheroes as the enemy, and he developed a grudge against them. Over time, Syndrome developed into a real villain. He used his knowledge of technology to create advanced weapons and gadgets that he could use against the heroes. He was smart, cunning, and determined to take down the superheroes, no matter what it took. Syndrome's actions put the lives of both superheroes and innocent people in danger. He was a serious threat, and it took a lot of bravery and teamwork from the heroes to stop him. In the end, though, Syndrome was defeated, and the world was saved from his evil plans. Coming in at number 6 is Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective. When we first meet Ratigan, he seems like a pretty upstanding member of Mouse Society. He's got a fancy house, wears a fancy hat, and he's got a fancy accent. But don't let his fancy exterior fool you. Underneath that fancy facade is a cunning and ruthless villain. Ratigan has big plans. He wants to overthrow the Mouse Queen and take over the Mouse Kingdom. As Basil, the great mouse detective, starts to uncover Ratigan's evil schemes, Ratigan becomes more and more desperate to stop him. He'll stop at nothing to achieve his goals, and he'll use any means necessary to do so. Ratigan is a classic villain in every sense of the word. He's got the evil laugh, the menacing demeanor, and the nefarious plans to match. He's a formidable foe for Basil and his allies, and the battle between the two of them makes for some serious mouse detective drama. At number 5, we have Scar from The Lion King. At first glance, Scar seems like a pretty chill uncle to young Simba. He's always hanging around, offering his sage advice and making jokes. But don't let his laid-back demeanor fool you. Deep down, Scar is a jealous and power-hungry lion. He's got his eye on the throne, and he'll stop at nothing to get it. When Scar sees an opportunity to take over the pride, he doesn't hesitate. He hatches a plan to kill Mufasa and frame Simba for it, and he pulls it off with ruthless efficiency. Scar's actions send shockwaves through the animal kingdom. Simba is forced to flee, and Scar takes over as the new king. But his reign is short-lived, as Simba returns to reclaim his rightful place and brings Scar to justice. Scar's character arc is a powerful one, showcasing the dangers of jealousy, ambition, and the thirst for power. He's a cautionary tale of what can happen when you let your desires consume you. Coming in at number 4 is Stinky Pete, also known as the Prospector, from Toy Story 2. At first glance, this old toy collector seems like a pretty decent guy. He's got a whole bunch of old toys, and he takes good care of them. But as the story unfolds, we realize that Stinky Pete is not all that he seems. He's got a sinister plan up his sleeve, and he's not afraid to manipulate his fellow toys to get what he wants. Stinky Pete is obsessed with being a part of a museum collection, and he'll stop at nothing to achieve his goal. He tries to trap Woody and his friends in the museum, so they can be admired by visitors forever. But Woody and his friends aren't about to give up without a fight. They work together to outsmart Stinky Pete and escape his clutches. Stinky Pete's character arc reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and that even the most seemingly harmless individuals can have dark motives. It's a lesson in being careful of who you trust and standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. At number 3, we have Sir Miles Axlerod from Cars 2. On the surface, this guy seems like a real do-gooder. He's an advocate for clean energy, and he's always going on about how great alternative fuels are. But as the story progresses, we discover that Sir Miles has a hidden agenda. It turns out that he's not really interested in promoting clean energy at all. He's actually in cahoots with some shady characters who are trying to sabotage alternative fuels and keep cars dependent on oil. Sir Miles is revealed to be the mastermind behind the whole plot, and he's willing to go to any lengths to achieve his goals. This revelation comes as a real shock to the characters in the movie, especially Lightning McQueen and his friends. They're forced to confront the idea that someone they thought was a trustworthy ally is actually their biggest enemy. Sir Miles' character arc is a reminder that you can't always trust people at face value, and that even the most seemingly noble causes can be used for nefarious purposes. Coming in at number 2 is Lotso, the huggable teddy bear with a not-so-huggable personality, from Toy Story 3. When we first meet Lotso, he seems like the perfect leader for the daycare toys. He's kind, friendly, and he seems to genuinely care about his fellow toys. But, as we learn more about Lotso's backstory, it becomes clear that there's more to this bear than meets the eye. Lotso was once the beloved toy of a little girl, but he was accidentally left behind and replaced. This experience left him bitter and resentful, and he took it out on the other toys at the daycare. Lotso turned the daycare into a prison for toys, and he ruled with an iron paw. He was ruthless and vengeful, especially when it came to dealing with Woody and his friends. And let's not forget the heartbreaking incinerator scene. That moment where Lotso turns his back on Woody and his friends is one of the most gut-wrenching moments in the entire Toy Story franchise. And at number 1, we have Hans, the smooth-talking prince with a secret agenda, from Frozen. Hans seems like a real charmer when he first meets Anna. He's got that princely air about him, and he knows just how to sweep Anna off her feet. But as the story progresses, it becomes clear that Hans isn't who he says he is. He's actually a scheming villain who's trying to take over the kingdom by any means necessary. In a shocking twist, Hans reveals his true nature during the film's climax. He confesses that he was planning to marry Anna and then eliminate her so he could take over the throne. This revelation comes as a huge shock to Anna, who thought she had found true love in Hans. It also serves as a reminder to audiences that appearances can be deceiving, and that not everyone is who they seem to be. And that's the video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to hit that subscribe button and bell icon if you want to stay up to date on my latest content. See you next time.